Hi, I'm Kat and I play red. We're doing something today that we haven't done for a while. We're going to be doing a Kickstarter preview. The game we're looking at today is Arkosa from Toon Hammer Games, designed by Angela Dickens. They're a small British company. We like that. And it's designed by a lady. Even better. Toon Hammer are a small company. They've done one other game on Kickstarter, I think back in 2017, that was a little card game. Arkosa's got a lot to it. They've gone from one end to the other. So let's have a look at it. In Arkosa, players take on the role of the leader of a colony. So here's our leader and here's our bunker for our colony, trying to escape the planet Arkosa. The game is played over 3 rounds, and we have a round tracker here with some other information. Players will take turns to carry out 2 actions. You can take as many turns as you want, or you have the resources to do. Once all players have passed, we then move on to the next round. At the end of the round, you're going to have to pay food and nitrogen for your colonists, else you get negative morale. After paying that, you'll then score your morale points, shown here, and then you're going to activate the powered rooms in your bunker. Return any non-injured colonists to your hand and prepare for the next round. There are 4 actions a player can take. You're going to do 2 in your turn. They can be the same except for bribes. You can either put a colonist to work, you can build a room, make a trade, or take a bribe. These are not available in the first round, but will become available in rounds 2 and 3. And these are the one action you can't do twice in a turn. So let's have a look at the actions in a bit more detail. Make a trade. You can either use the common trades available on the board here. You can do the same trade multiple times. However, if you chose to do different ones, that would count as different actions. So here you can trade nitrogen or food for the other one. Or you can trade 1 nitrogen and 1 food for a mag tape, a nitrogen or a food for some scrap, or a nitrogen or a food for a med card. Also, the player leaders have 2 sides to their board. We have the starter leaders, which we have out here. On the more advanced action, there's actually a special trade at the bottom here that players can make once per round. There's a little space there, so if you use it, you just pop a cube on so you know it's done for that round. The second action players can do is to make a bribe. In the second and the third round, these cards will become available. So bear in mind this is a prototype, so not all the artwork's done, so some of it showing these blanks, a lot of it is done though. So you can take a bribe card. You can only take 1 of these a turn, and you're simply going to take the card and place it in front of you. At the end of the game, if you have the resource shown at the bottom here, you're going to gain the points shown there. Another action you can choose to do is to build a room. There are 4 available rooms shown on the board here. You're going to pay the resources in the bottom corner here, Let's take this one, cost me 1 scrap, and simply place the building into your bunker. There are 3 types of rooms. We have science rooms, which are the blue rooms, labour, which are the green rooms, and there's also entertainment rooms, which are this orange colour. You must build from the top of your bunker down, and there must always be a room above where you place the new room. A lot of these will provide bonuses. So when I place this room, I'd get a scrap. These rooms here basically show if this is a green room, I'm going to get an extra food. So it's worth having a look to see what bonuses you get for your placement, though you must obviously adhere to all the rules of placement. When you build a room, you don't take these points. Instead, you'll get these points at the end of the game. The last available action is to use a colonist. We're going to start with 4 in our hand. Again, we've got one the artwork's not quite finished on, but we've also got some rather awesome artwork. So let's have a look at what you can do with colonists. If you see the symbols here, you can simply take those resources. Now, this guy here's actually got 3 available actions to choose from. I can only ever do 1. So I could either take 2 food, I could gain a morale, or I could go exploring. And again, you'll notice these colours here that indicate what type of colonist they are. So this is green, so he's a labourer and an entertainer. I don't know what sort of entertainment, maybe he juggles, who knows. So all of these have got slightly different bonuses. So let's have a look, let's not use one without artwork. Let's have a look and go exploring with this guy. To use a colonist, I'm going to pop him on this side of my board. There's 3 different symbols for exploring, and that's going to allow you to gain new resources and new colonists. So we need to find a symbol on the board that matches this and see where we want to go with him. So let's have a look. We quite like this guy. So, and our symbol matches, so we can go exploring to gain this guy. However, whenever we take an action on this board, we need to move on the exploration track. So here we're going to move 1 space, and we do that before anything else happens. So our exploration marker is starting here. We're going to move 1, which takes me up to a green event. So now I need to take a green event card. There are 3 different types of event cards. Green are the friendlier, then we have the brown, and then the red. So we're taking a green, let's draw the card and see what happens. Now there's actually some really nice flavour text here, if that's the sort of thing you like. So this one's all about ancient fungi. But the result is my explorer happens upon a delicious beverage. Gain 1 morale. So I'm going to move up 1 on the morale track and discard that card. Now I pay the cost shown at the top here, which is 1 nitrogen. So I've got 3, I'm going to put 2 in. And I take this colonist into my hand. Now in order to refill, we're actually going to move all the other cards down the board. And because we're in round 1, we're using the A cards to restock. So we take that and pop him up the top. When moving up the exploration track, there's a lot of stuff going on here which can be good or bad. The minute you hit one of these raid symbols with this card shown in the yellow background, you're going to stop, draw a raid card and do what it says, but the tracker won't move past there. The other thing to note when you're taking colonists is you're only allowed a maximum of 6. So I started with 4 at random, so now I have 5. I'm fine, I'm within my limits. There's a little reminder here that tells you 6 colonists max. If at any point you have more than 6, you must discard them. However, as with a lot of things in this game, there's a penalty for that. If you have to discard a colonist, either from the resting space here or from your hand, you're going to get -1 on the morale track. If you discard a colonist who's injured from this side of the board, you'll lose 1 morale and 1 reputation. So let's have a look at the board. Let's change some of these. Let's change these placeholder ones over for something with some funky artwork. There we go, that looks better, doesn't it? So up the top here, we have the round tracker. So as I said, the game is played over 3 rounds. Here it tells you what cards you're going to be using. So initially we'll be replacing the cards on the board with them from stack A. Then in round 2 and 3 it will be cards from the B stack. Round 2 is where the bribes come in, and also the B buildings. At the moment our little random bag is full of A buildings. For round 2 you're going to put the Bs in to give you a load more choice. So there's a lot of really useful information on this as a round tracker. So obviously we have the 5 colonists that are available. All of these have different actions. Then we've got some spaces that are going to give you resources. So Sanctuary Prime is going to give you 2 mag tape and 1 scrap if you pay 2 nitrogen and 2 food, and you're going to have to move 3 on the Explorer track. Research Outpost again is giving you mag tape and scrap. The crash site down here is going to give you power shards, which we'll come on to in a little bit. They're very important. The factory here is quite fun. You get to just roll the dice and gain what's on it. So there's all your different resources. There's also a bad thing here. This is going to injure one of your colonists, so that's no fun. But generally, that's going to give you resources. As well as the morale track here, we have the exploration track, which we spoke about briefly. We've then got our buildings. Now you can see these are on a little track. When someone takes one, it's immediately replaced. At the end of the round, this bottom one's going to pop off and refill. And then we have the common trade pool, which we also talked about briefly. At the end of each round, you'll need to provide rations for your colonists, as shown here. So for each 2 colonists you have, you'll need to produce 1 food and 1 nitrogen. For each pair of colonists you can't provide for, you'll lose 1 morale and drop down on the morale track here. After you've done that, you'll then score points for your position on the morale track, be it positive or negative. So here at the moment I'm at 1, so I'm going to go up 1 point here. After that, you're then going to produce in your runes. Now, runes will only produce if they're powered. Remember me talking about power shards? This is why they're important. So if I were to flip over the nitro generator here, I'd get 2 nitrogen. The Nutripods will get me 2 food. More Nutripods here get me another 2 foods. The Pandora's Portal is actually a special room that we started with, and this will essentially give me a resource of my choice. I can choose 1 nitrogen, 1 food, 1 scrap, 1 mag tape. I could even choose 1 morale, so go up 1 on the morale track, or 1 reputation. So I think in this case, I'm actually going to choose 1 morale. If I was going into the end of the round and all my buildings had been deactivated, instead of them producing, they'd actually reactivate. So power shards are kind of important to get your resources, which will then help you in the next round. The last thing you're going to do at the end of the round is pick up any of your resting colonists into your hand. Now, if you have colonists that have been injured and are this side of the board, let's pop him there, you don't get to pick them up. The best way to do that is with this action down at the common trade portal, is to take one of these cards here. There we go, look, heal 1 colonist and gain morale. So that's one of the ways you can repair your colonists. I don't want to say, they're all a bit strange and there's some robot types, so I don't know if you, can you heal a robot? I guess you repair it rather than heal it. Colonists can get injured either through events, some cards will do it, all sorts. So just make sure you know which side of your board they're going on. The game ends after room production at the end of round 3. You're going to score any points shown on your rooms. I've only got 1. That's not very good, is it? You're going to get points for your colonists. So let's have a look at these. I'd get the points shown here, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 points. However, any injured colonists are worth -1. So sadly, this guy would only be worth 2 points rather than 3. You're then going to get points for any bribes you've completed. Now, if I pay the 3 food there, and the power shard and the 1 food there, both of these are completed. I can't use this 1 food towards that card. The resources have to be available just for that single bribe. So I'd gain 9 points for my completed bribes. However, if I hadn't completed this one, I'd gain 4 for this, but I'd actually get -5 points for not completing that bribe. So be really careful when you pick those up. You're then going to get points for any leftover resources you have. Let's sort this out a bit. Your food, nitrogen and scrap, you're going to get 1 point for each 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. You're going to get 1 for each mag tape you have left over, and 2 for each power shard you have, but not for the ones in your bunker, so only the ones that you didn't place. The player with the most points is the winner. If there's a tie, you're going to have a look at the morale track, and the player with the highest morale will be the winner, and get onto that ship and off of planet Arkosa and be rescued. Arkosa is a really interesting action selection game, because it's not quite worker placement. I'm going to call it action selection game. There's loads of different options in the game. The bunkers are double-sided. Your leaders are double-sided. So many cards. Look at all these cards. So you're never going to see the same cards. There's so much variability in the rooms as well, because obviously these are a random draw. There's so much that makes each game different, which is really nice. We like a bit of changeability. This is a prototype, so I know these power shards at the moment, they've got stickers on, but they're going to be nice. Some of the art has got placeholders rather than the final art, so bear that in mind when you're having a look at this. The art we have got is amazing and quirky, and I'm loving it. We've got this guy here who's a weird little bug. I don't know, how can you see him nicely? And then we've also got robots. So we've got all sorts of weird little creatures going on. Most of these make sense, the symbols at the top. There are a few that are slightly awkward. Mr. Bugman is. He's got some stars here because he's a special guy. And then we've got this cheat sheet that tells you about the special aliens, colonists, they're colonists. Tells you about the special colonists and about the special rooms. So if you are ever unsure of anything, it's all on there, which is nice. I assume that's something that they're going to be doing in the final version. I'm pretty sure there's also going to be stretch goals for linen finish on the cards and stuff like that. So this is a really nice prototype, but the one on Kickstarter is going to be even better. It is launching on the 7th of this month. What month are we in? September. 7th of September on Kickstarter. Once it's live, I'll put the link down below. So go and check it out. Small independent British company. We love that, obviously. Have a look. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Share this with your friends. Tell them all about the Crazy Alien game. Click like and subscribe. Come and say hello on my other socials on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I play red. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.